And we are live. So, Max Nation and Dog Pound, welcome to the Week 12 edition of the Sports Room Talk Show. It is Cleveland Browns against the Baltimore Ravens, or I guess you could say the old Cleveland Browns. There's argument to be made for or against that. I see it as the Ravens are not the old Browns because the name Browns, the colors, and the team history all stayed here in Cleveland. But I can understand why people would say, no, the Ravens are the Browns. But my streak of doing a video collaboration for every game on the Browns schedule continues. So as I welcome a Baltimore Ravens fan to the show, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Postu, but some people can call me Ryan. I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan. I've been a Ravens fan since I was 6 years old in 2011. And, I've had upsets and downs with the team, but I'm still going to carry on. There was a time and place where I wasn't really big into football for a long time, but I've been getting back into it, and I'm happy with how the team has been rolling on. And I just hope that we have a good season, even though we have all these injuries and really horrible play calling sometimes. But,
Yeah. By the way, I do have a little Ravens love. See, I have a mini Ravens helmet right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then right there, I have a little mini Ravens pennant. So
I have those same pennants. They're in my brother's room. They're hanged up in one of my brother's room.
nice.
Like, it's the exact same pennants, but they're like distributed between. So like one side has all of AFC and the other has NFC.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool.
I have many pennants like that for Major League Baseball, and I have many pennants like that for the NBA as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's get to talking about this game tonight. This is a pretty big game for both teams in this division. You guys are 7-3, I believe, if I remember, because you already had your bye week already. We're 6-5, and for you guys, you're trying to get back to being that number one seed, whereas we're 6-5. Yeah, we're in the bottom of the AFC North, but at the same time, we're right in the thick of the wild card hunt. So this game is big for both of us. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, it really is. We're trying to get that first seed back, and especially trying to secure first place in AFC North, which has been a really big struggle recently. Though I believe last week we were thankful, both you and I guess, as Browns and Ravens fans, to be thankful that the Steelers lost against the Chargers. I believe that was last week.
Yes,
but
it was.
Unfortunately, the Bengals got their win, which isn't that surprising. But hopefully, as a Ravens fan, no bias. Well, kind of, but hopefully we get this win and stay on top. But if not, that's okay because we'll still hopefully have a playoff seed in. It would suck to lose the second seed though.
I mean, you guys are most likely gonna be in the playoffs. You're 7-3. You're what, the number 2 seed right now?
Yeah, we're right behind Tennessee.
Yeah, which I don't think Tennessee's going to be able to keep doing what they're doing. So I think you guys have a pretty good shot at possibly getting that number 1 seed. But you got to worry about New England.
We really do. Yeah, with my opinion on New England is that they have a long way to go. Sure, they have a rookie quarter. Mac Jones has been working really well for them, but he's a rookie quarterback. And I feel like once he makes it into that playoffs, he's going to make a lot of rookie mistakes against those other playoff contenders, and especially those who we can call Super Bowl contenders, like the Buffalo Bills and like many other players in the AFC.
That's fair. Okay, so before we continue with talking Browns-Ravens, I have a little bit of a fantasy dilemma. And it's a little, I know, half an hour before game. Not a good time to have a fantasy football dilemma, but right now I'm starting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, but they're going up against Jonathan Taylor and the Indianapolis Colts. And then on my bench, I have the San Francisco 49ers defense, but they're going against the Minnesota Vikings. What do you suggest on that one?
So you trying to choose between like
Who should I start? Pretty much.
definitely Tampa. 49ers defense has its ups and downs, but with the Vikings, it's like their offense is really good. I think they definitely have one of the most underrated offenses in the league right now currently. Though they may have like Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, all those other great guys, but I feel like they don't get enough recognition, especially for their offense, of like enough recognition for what they do. Because like they put up a lot of points against the Ravens. I really thought we were gonna lose that, but we somehow got the win. But I don't know, that Vikings offense is pretty good.
Yeah. But the thing is, the Colts like shredded the arguably the top defense in the league last week in the Buffalo Bills. And
Yeah,
and the Buccaneers defense is really banged up. So
that is true.
so
I mean, it really just depends, you know. I mean, I don't really know much about fantasy football, but you just got to go with your gut. You know,
yeah.
it's either Tampa or 49ers.
Okay. I'll probably end up staying with Tampa, but we'll see. Anyway, let's get back to Browns Ravens. So we play each other 2 out of the next 3 weeks. You guys go Browns, Steelers, and then Browns again, whereas we go Ravens, bye week, Ravens. And the weird part is, tonight's matchup is Sunday Night Football, but when we host you guys in week 14, that's a 1 o'clock game. I don't know about you, but that seems a little unfair.
It does. Yeah. It's just the NFL and their scheduling is really weird. I feel like it's really weird this year. I'm not going to lie. Because, like, the time perception with their games and especially, like, really big games is just a bit off. I do think Browns Ravens do deserve a primetime game, especially right now. But then switching it to 1 o'clock is a bit weird.
Yeah, what I was thinking before the season was that the week 14 game between the two of us was going to be the one that decides who possibly wins the AFC North. Now, it could still work out that way, but given that you're 6-3, or I'm sorry, 7-3, I didn't mean to take away a win from you guys.
No, it's all right.
And we're 6-5. It's highly unlikely that the week 14 game is going to decide the division.
Definitely not. No. I feel like this game is going to be a statement in the AFC and the AFC North as a whole to see who is prospected or like who's a contender for the lead of AFC North. It's definitely like one of those test games to catch people's eye, and especially all of AFC North like fans and everything.
Yeah. And the other thing I have a thought about is, I mean, I know we played Arizona. We hosted Arizona as our extra game. You guys host the Rams in whatever it is, week 15 or week 16, something like that.
I think it's week 17. I don't know why we're versing the Rams. I don't know. The NFL, man, they gave us kind of a hard schedule because we verse Packers and Rams, which is really hard to tell who's going to win that one.
Yeah. But that's just because like we hosted the Cardinals because we finished in the same place in the standings as the Cardinals in the NFC West, and I guess with the extra game, it just worked out that every AFC North team was going to play an NFC West team for the extra game. I don't know why, but whatever. But we hosted Arizona, Denver, and Houston. I want to take those teams out of the equation for right now. Because other than those three, and Las Vegas. So forget the Raiders, Broncos, and Cardinals and Texans for a minute. We host you guys, Steelers, Bengals, Lions, Bears. And I did an article about this on Fansided, which is a website that I write for. about which team I thought was going to bring in the most opposing fans, I actually said that it was going to be you guys because of what I said earlier, that I thought the Week 14 game between the Browns and Ravens was going to be the one that decided who wins the AFC North.
Yeah, I definitely do think so too. And I believe that in week 14 as well, the Bengals versus the 49ers and Steelers get Vikings, which definitely both tough games for the both of them. I do think Browns and Ravens have that clashing head to see who comes up in AFC North. They definitely are the both contenders, and having them back to back on week 12 and 14 is definitely going to be a huge, basically like trench warfare between both teams.
Yeah. And you guys have the Steelers in between, so you're going through the AFC North gauntlet right now.
We really are, and it puts us in a really tough position because it's also going to be our first time going against the Steelers this whole year. So having that bit is going to be really tough for us because our first game, like Ravens and Steelers, obviously have their big rivalry moments, and Ravens do tend to lose to the Steelers most of the time. So that might bump us down a bit, but depending on how healthy we are these following weeks, and if we can play good and make good calls, we might squeak out a few wins.
Yeah. All right, I want to address this from Waldtown Best 88. Looks like Baker Mayfield is more worried about commercials than getting better. He acts like he doesn't want to fix problems. I agree with you on that one. Baker Mayfield, I'm sorry, but he has not earned the right to be in the Progressive at home with Baker Mayfield commercials. He's been completely outplayed by Josh Allen. He's been completely outplayed by your guy, Lamar Jackson. For me, he has not validated why he was the number one overall pick. So I don't know if you feel the same way, but I don't think he should be doing those commercials.
I don't really mind the commercials, but I do mind his playing. He was pretty okay last year, especially with how he led the Browns into, what was their record last year?
11-5.
Yeah, 11-5. He led them very well into that, and especially getting a playoff round. But right now, with how he's leading their team, and especially their offense, it's not looking well. Because he has his offs and on games, but right now he's having more off games than on games, which is going to cause the Browns to probably lose their AFC North spot or not make the playoffs. He needs to start working more often. And people really thought OBJ was the problem. I don't know why you guys cut OBJ, but it happens. But from what it looks like after cutting him, he wasn't really the problem. Because after the game after, when you guys traded him off, it seems like, Baker Mayfield still having trouble with throwing the ball, connecting with his receivers, and all that other stuff.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's consistent. He's consistently inconsistent. That's the best way you can describe him. And it's a contract year for him. So
yeah.
So it's like he's trying to get a contract extension, but he hasn't played well enough to show me that he deserves a contract extension. I think Lamar is in the same situation where, not that he's shown that he doesn't deserve a contract. I think Lamar absolutely does, but I'm saying, isn't this also a contract year for him? Or did you guys already agree to an extension?
I think you already agreed to an extension last year or a year beforehand. I don't remember. I don't keep an eye on contracts that much, but I do not think that this is Lamar's deadline for a contract yet.
Okay. Let's see. We got Boston Sports Report in here. He's saying, my prediction, Ravens win 21-17. Okay.
It's a realistic prediction, but then again, though, this Browns defense is one of the best defenses that the Ravens will be going up against currently to this year. Sure, we got the Packers and Rams later on, but I'm talking about right now in Week 12.
And you guys,
Browns defense is pretty good. I'm pretty sure they're fourth overall, if I remember from what I looked at.
okay,
Maybe I have to check that. But the Ravens offense is going to really struggle with this Browns defense. The Browns defense has always dominated the Ravens offense for most of the time.
yeah. I mean, the only reason you guys won last year on Monday Night Football is because Lamar Jackson came back after having what's the best way to say this?
The game winning, yeah. The game winning
Diarrhea?
bathroom break.
Yeah, he had to take a bathroom break. Yeah, that's the best way of saying it.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, you were lucky to win that game.
We were very lucky. We shouldn't have won that game like most games that we have this year. But the Ravens were very inconsistent if you've seen how we play throughout this year. With the Ravens, we are a very good team. Most people in the league do know this. We should be playing well, but then again, though, we are the most injured team right now. We have a lot of players on injured reserve, especially after losing most of our starters, like Marcus Peters, Fort, Wolf, all these other guys on our defense, and then losing some on offense is pretty bad for us. But then again, though, with us, we feel like with the Ravens, we play on the same level as the team we're going up against, but a bit higher. We shouldn't even had a close game with the Bears. Like, I was kind of shocking how close we almost lost to the Bears. Like,
yeah, but that's also because you had your backup quarterback in there.
True, yeah, which is surprising that we won that.
Lamar was dealing with some type of illness, but apparently it wasn't COVID, which is, kind of strange in this day and age, but that's neither here nor there.
We got lucky with that.
Yeah, you did. But he's back this week, and I wish I could have been like a fly on the wall this week at Browns practice to see how the heck they were trying to replicate Lamar and like prepare for what he can do with, running and escaping the pocket, running for like 35 yards, which we know he can do. Mm-hmm. So I would have loved to have seen how they prepared for it. Do you think we saw what the Miami Dolphins did to you guys on Thursday Night Football? Would you be surprised if the Browns employed a similar defensive scheme to what Miami did?
I wouldn't be. With the Dolphins, they ran the same play every time, and yet we, as an offense for the Ravens, could not get past it, which is really upsetting. I do blame the coaches on this one, not the players, because with the Dolphins, there was a clear obvious in that defensive play call that they made every time. And that was clearly that they left the middle wide open. If you watched closely with the entire game when the Ravens offense was on, the same play played on, that in the middle was wide open. But we decided to not put any receivers routes to go there to possibly gain a first down or even more. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns defense, would use that to their advantage against the Ravens offense.
Yeah. I just don't know if the Browns have the personnel to run that type of defensive scheme.
I think they do, but not at the same time. I mean, they do have a lot of weapons on that defense there. You guys have Myles Garrett and all those extremely good cornerbacks, So it's gonna be rough for our receivers to get down there and to possibly catch the ball. And Myles Garrett is going to be a huge problem with Lamar scrambling. He's going to be on him. He's going to try getting as many sacks as he can, stopping him from going past the line of scrimmage.
Right. I mean, you're catching us at an interesting time because you guys are pretty banged up and somewhat unhealthy. Yeah, I know you have Lamar back, but you have a lot of injuries. Whereas we're getting Kareem Hunt back tonight. We're getting Jack Conklin back tonight. So that could impact the game possibly.
I think it definitely would. Yeah. And from what I saw from Friday's injury report for the Ravens, it's pretty bad. We have more than 10 players currently for their game status to be questionable or out or just whatever, or not listed for the game. which is really bad. It kind of worries me a bit here because throughout when the season progresses, it kind of looks like the Ravens aren't getting better with their injuries. I don't know what they're doing in practice, but it needs to get fixed up.
So here, right now, you guys are a 3-point favorite tonight, but here are all your injuries. Oh wow, you have a ton. So Marquise Brown is questionable. Ardarius Washington is on injured reserve. Tavon Young is questionable. Chris Westry is questionable. Anthony Averett is questionable. Brandon Williams is questionable. Jimmy Smith, questionable. Calais Campbell, questionable. Nick Boyle, questionable. Patrick Ricard, questionable. Miles Boykin, out. Patrick McCarry, questionable. Cedric Ogube, sorry if I butchered that last name, he's out. Pernell McPhee, injured reserve. Jawan James, out. Derek Wolfe, injured reserve. Deshaun Elliott, sorry, injured reserve. Ronnie Stanley, injured reserve. Dalian Hayes, injured reserve. Marcus Peters, injured reserve. Gus Edwards, injured reserve. Justice Hill, injured reserve. J.K. Dobbins, injured reserve. Aaron Crawford, injured reserve. And Otaro Alaka, injured reserve. That's your whole injury list.
It's a pretty big one. And
yeah, I know.
I think we lead the NFL in most injured players on reserved here too, or on the injury list, which brings our morale down a lot and our momentum because we're missing a lot of key players there, like Marcus Peters, J.K. Dobbins, who was looking really promising this preseason and the postseason. It looked really promising, and especially with Gus Edwards out and Justice Hill, our running back core is really bad. Especially with our cap space, we wasted most of our cap space on running backs, trying to get running backs into our system. But we also we had to sign Latavius Murray, Devontae
Freeman,
Le'Veon Bell, who's now out, who's gone. We cut him.
Yeah,
unfortunately. Why? I have no idea. He played really well for us. I mean, I think he's the only running back who actually had a lot of yards, or at least some yards, and a ton of touchdowns. He scored us a lot during the games, and I don't know why we decided to cut him. Latavius Murray, sure, he's injured, I believe, but he's not been playing a lot. But
Latavius Murray is not on your injury list.
I believe he got off injured reserved or got off the injury list not too long ago. I think he started playing again. I think he had an ankle injury for a very long time throughout the majority of the season. But it's good to have him back.
Yeah, we only have 4 players who are questionable. Everyone else is either out or on injured reserve. Troy Hill is questionable. Kareem Hunt is questionable, but I think I've heard that he's supposed to play today. DPJ, Donovan Peoples-Jones, is questionable, but it says on here that he's expected to play. Jack Conklin, I think he's expected to play tonight, and that's it. Everybody else is either out or on injured reserve.
You guys have a really big advantage over us, it kind of seems like, because you guys seem to have most of your starters still out and kicking.
Yeah, but the thing is, Baker Mayfield should not be playing right now. Holy crap. I mean, what does he have? Let's see. I think he has an ankle injury. He's got a shoulder injury. Seems like he's banged up. And that actually ties into a comment earlier. No way you're the number 1 overall pick, and your backup looks better than you. Case Keenum looked really good when he played. So did the offense. Okay, so he's talking about when Case Keenum played in that Thursday night football game against the Denver Broncos. No, Case Keenum did not look that great. I wouldn't say Baker Mayfield necessarily Case Keenum outplayed Baker Mayfield, which Mayfield did not play in that game. but it was more the Dearness Johnson that carried us in that game, and the running and the fullbacks that carried us. The Broncos aren't very good anyway, so and we only won 17-14 or something like that. So
Yeah, very close games, especially with the Lions. So
I mean, that was embarrassing. How is it that the Lions are we're 8-1, and we only beat them by 3? Granted,
I don't know, but we almost lost to them too. But then
yeah,
Justin Tucker, with his amazing kick power, was able to kick that field goal from that range and able to win us the game.
yeah. So I guess neither of us should be shit talking the Lions because we both only barely beat them.
We were very close to losing. They should have a lot of wins by now, but they keep on losing to very close games and field goals.
Yeah. So right now we are 1-1 in the AFC North because we beat the Bengals in week 9, but the week before we had a very bizarre 15-10 loss at home against the Steelers. I wish I could tell you what happened in that game, but I don't know. That game was so confusing. And you guys are what?
0-1. We're
Oh.
we're 0-1 right now. The only AFC North team that we were able to play was the Bengals in week 5. No, not week 5. I have to check that real quick. I know it was sometime earlier, but it was a while ago. It was in October, definitely in October. So like that's here. Let me check. We were in our bye in week 8. Week 7 is when we lost to the Bengals. That's where we had our first loss in the AFC North.
Gotcha. Yeah, so right now you're a -3 point, a 3-point favorite. According to the matchup predictor on ESPN, you have a 61.6% chance of winning tonight, for whatever that's worth, which I don't really think there's much value in that, but whatever.
The NFL is unpredictable at times, so I mean, it just depends on how the players play, and hopefully that whoever wins gets that top of the AFC North. I'd be fine with the Browns on top of AFC North. The Ravens do have a lot of problems with their team right now, especially with all their players out and horrible play calling, especially on the offense and defense. They really do need to get that back together. They are having a hard time. I will give them that. But it's already mid-season, and we're like the playoff window we're very closer. It's literally right around the quarter. We're already in week 12, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So we have to start fixing ourselves up if we want to stay in that top of AFC North and stay in second or maybe first seed.
Yeah. So on the radio show that I do every Wednesday from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock on All Sports Cleveland, called So What's the Catch with James, Brian, Chirk Berserk, Kramer, and myself. I asked the group, what is the Super Bowl that you think is going to happen, and what is the Super Bowl that you want to see? And for me, my answer when it came to what is the Super Bowl that you want to see, I actually said Ravens against the Cardinals, because I would love to see that matchup of Lamar against Kyler Murray on that big of a stage, because maybe this is I'm wrong in this, but I think Lamar and Kyler Murray are very similar stylistically in how they play quarterback. And I just think that would be a very fun matchup to watch.
That would be a very fun matchup, but I don't think the Ravens are ready yet for a Super Bowl team. They have, right now, too many mistakes, too many issues right now going on with their team. I do think the Cardinals are most likely a Super Bowl team, but Kyler Murray has not been playing for a little bit, so that's why the Cardinals have been losing, I guess. I don't know when was the last time Kyler Murray played, but I believe it's been a while.
Cardinals have
remember.
been winning without him, though.
That is true, but they won against
Seattle.
the Seattle, but lost to Carolina that same
Yeah,
after that week. No,
yeah,
before that
that's
week
true.
actually.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
when it comes to Lamar and Kyler, Lamar is very fast at running the ball. He's able to juke out defenders, which is like a really good advantage. But one thing that is a problem is that our O line is not the best right now. Our O line continues to struggle, continues to collapse over blitz plays or any type of way that we can run the ball, which is why we have a lot of sacks, which can lead Lamar to being injured sometime through the season because we've gave up a lot of sacks for no reason because of our O line collapsing. But also Lamar doesn't seem to be that smart when he's scrambling, I guess, out the pocket. He's able to get there, but I feel like he doesn't use enough thought into it because he just like goes out the pocket and then tries running it, but with Kyler, he knows how to scramble out of the pocket and able to possibly scramble for it or whatever.
Yeah, I got you. So you're with what you were saying about your offensive line having problems and stuff. It sounds like what you're saying is that could be advantage Browns.
It
Am I
could be, yeah.
correct?
It could be a huge advantage for the Browns, especially against Myles Garrett. He'll definitely use that to his advantage, especially for the rest of the D linemen on the Browns.
Okay. So when you look at our offense, we're going to come at you with Nick Chubb. That with Kareem Hunt back, we're going to come at you with that. So what do you think the Ravens defense needs to do to try and force Baker Mayfield to try and beat them? Because that's what they're going to try and do is neutralize the run game, make Baker Mayfield try and beat them. How do you think the Ravens go about doing that? Do you think it's simple as playing the 6-2 front that New England utilized?
I don't know. But one thing that the Ravens defense does need to step up is definitely stopping that run game. Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb are a deadly running back threat. They are a really good duo against each other. And having both of those guys on the field on and off will definitely tire out this Ravens offense. And then we also need to use a lot of communication. If you've been watching the Ravens recently, our communication with our defense is not the best. Because there's times where we blow out lots of coverages, which leads to the enemy, the opposite team, the opponent team, scoring touchdowns. An example like this is Week 7 against the Bengals. We left Uzama and Jamar Chase get so many yards and touchdowns just based off poor communication. Which I think that with this poor communication, it continues to struggle, is really bad and it needs to be fixed. And I think that the Browns will use that to their advantage. But who knows? This is home game for the Ravens, so we do have home game advantage. But we also did lose to the Bengals at home. Either way, though.
Yeah.
But if it just really depends on who's playing quarterback too. If Baker Mayfield's playing, that may be a bit of a struggle. But if not, we may be able to use that to our advantage with our cornerbacks and possibly the blitz game. But you guys will definitely probably run the ball a lot with Kareem Hunt back. So you guys get both Chubb and Kareem Hunt swapping out every play.
What I would love to see, actually, is some plays where Chubb and Hunt are on the field together and both in the backfield, on either side of Baker. So that way, and I would love to see them use that style play tonight against the Ravens. Because, this is going to be a classic AFC North game. I don't expect it to be a 47-42 shootout like we had in that Monday Night Football game last year, where Lamar Jackson saved your hiney with his hiney. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting a 24-21 type of game. I think that's what I'm going to go with for my score prediction. But even though I'm a Browns fan, if I don't think the Browns are going to win, I'm not going to pick them. And Lamar Jackson has shown me countless times that when you think he's done and out of a game, he'll somehow magically pull something out of his ass and win it. So I can't deny Lamar. Like when you guys hosted the Colts on Monday Night Football, I had a 99% chance of winning that game for my fantasy football matchup. What happens? Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews both go off for like 40 plus points, and I ended up losing.
Lamar is a true wild card. He's very unpredictable at times. When teams think that he's completely done and over with the game, he teaches them wrong and tells him, "I'm not done yet, and I'm going to prove you that," and then scores as many touchdowns as he can. Especially during the Chiefs and Colts game, that was like last year. Did Lamar win MVP last year? I believe he did.
That wasn't last year. That was 2 or 3 years ago, which he so rightfully deserved to win MVP that year.
Those two games he played like MVP Lamar. I definitely do think that.
I loved that Chiefs Ravens game. When I wasn't rooting for either team in that game because I don't like the Chiefs, and obviously I don't like the Ravens. No offense.
No, it's all good.
You know it comes with the territory.
It's AFC North rivalry. It always happens.
Exactly. Actually, on that note, I actually think the Ravens are the Browns' biggest rival, not the Steelers.
I do think so too, but then again, though, Steelers fans always come back and try to pick on Ravens, and especially the Ravens fans. So, I mean, that rivalry with the Steelers is still there. It always will be there, but Ravens have too many rivals, and especially outside of the AFC North, especially with the Tennessee Titans from last year, with stomping on the logo. Tennessee Titans don't really like us that much. They still don't, especially their fans.
Yeah.
So Ravens have a lot of trouble with rivalry right now.
I feel like you guys and the Patriots have a rivalry still.
We kind of do. I don't think it's that strong, not that I know of, but we do have our ups and downs with the Patriots.
Yeah. So it's funny that you mentioned that because leading up to this game, one of my superstitions, actually, I'm a very superstitious Browns fan. Since the Browns won while I was wearing this sweatshirt last week against the Lions, I obviously had to wear it again. But the other part is I'm watching games where the Ravens lose. And one of those games just so happened to be when you guys played the Patriots in the 2014 AFC divisional round.
Yeah, that was a tough loss. I'm not going to lie.
And the other game I watched was when the Indians beat the Orioles 3-2 to extend their winning streak to 18 games, I believe it was. Yeah. That was actually coincidentally on Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, which is funny because this game's on Sunday Night Football. So.
It's the lucky jacket. So, I mean, hopefully the Browns get this win, but I'm still hoping that the Ravens keep on their streak, on their win streak, because we now have a win streak. Hopefully we can make it to 2, possibly 3 if we go up against the Steelers and win it. Steelers have a good defense too. I feel like with this schedule that we have later on, reversing teams that have really strong defenses and really strong offenses. Steelers' offense is really banged up, especially losing Juju and Ben Roethlisberger getting older and older as he plays. Like every snap, he does not play well. He's able to squeak in a few touchdowns and extra yards, but he's just not the answer right now for this Steelers offense. He needs to get out of there and possibly retire. And Steelers do need a new quarterback desperately. And they literally tied with the Lions when Ben was out. So they do need a new franchise quarterback or maybe get someone off free agency or I don't know, but the Steelers' offense is pretty banged up, which might give our defense an advantage. But that Steelers' defense is nasty, especially with TJ Watt back, I believe. It's going to
Yeah.
be really hard.
Yeah. So your remaining schedule is you have the Browns tonight, then you play the Steelers, then you got the Browns again, Packers, Bengals, Rams, Steelers. That is a brutal schedule to finish.
It is, and that might cost us losing a lot of games after it, and maybe even losing a playoff seed, or even losing the lead in AFC North.
Yeah.
This schedule that we have is probably one of the toughest schedules we'll have out of anyone in the league, by far.
Which, meanwhile, for us, it goes Ravens, bye week, Ravens, and then we get the Raiders, and then we're at Green Bay on Christmas, at Steelers, Monday Night Football, and then we finish up with the Bengals at home. So that's a
mediocre. It's a mediocre schedule.
Mediocre?
Well, by mediocre, I mean like it's pretty mid to me, at least. It's better than what we have currently, especially with Rams and Packers.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that's mediocre or mid. I would say that's somewhat of a difficult schedule. We already lost to the Steelers. Raiders, yeah, they've had their struggles, but they're still right in the mix. It's going to be tough to go into Lambeau on Christmas.
Oh, yeah, that will, especially if it's snowing, and then the Packers' home field advantage. Packers are a really tough team. They always will be.
Yeah.
Especially with Aaron Rodgers possibly playing that game. I think does he have COVID? I don't remember. I heard something about that. I don't know if that's true or not. And I don't keep up with the media at this point.
Luckily for
Packers are a tough team.
Luckily for you guys, you host them in Baltimore.
True, but
somehow that's a 1:00 game. That's stupid.
That's a really big game. I thought it'd be a Thursday night or possibly a primetime game, like a Thursday night primetime or a Monday or a Sunday primetime. But it's whatever, I guess.
Yeah. Bengals just scored a touchdown.
Oh, I forgot the games are on right now.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So if you want to wrap things up and go watch your football, totally cool with me.
Nah, I'm all good. Ravens don't play until 8, but I'm gonna keep a tab open on the Google thing, on the Google Pad thing for the Bengals and Steelers game.
Yeah. I'm watching NFL Red Zone while we're doing this. So, this is going to be such an interesting game tonight because you guys are wearing your all black jerseys. I don't know if it's good. Does that mean it's going to be a blackout tonight at M&T Bank or?
I don't know, but I do think that uniform that we are going to be wearing means a lot of business because we don't usually wear that uniform that often. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah.
Like I haven't seen it in quite a long time, and it's good to see that uniform back. It's personally one of my most favorite uniforms out of the Ravens, right next to the Color Rush and the all-white uni that we had against Vegas. I thought that one was an okay uniform, but when we wear the all-black uniform, I expect that we wear it on a very big game.
I think you worn it for like your big primetime home games. I remember you wearing it against Kansas City. I think you wore them against Indy when you hosted them on Monday Night Football. So
we actually didn't. We wore our regular home game uniform against Kansas City, but against Indianapolis we wore like a variation of our home game. But instead of the pants being white, instead of the jersey pants being white, they were purple. So it was like a different variation of our home game.
Really? I thought you were wearing your all black uniforms for those two games.
No, it was black shirt, then purple pants. That was the uni. If I remember.
for the Ravens game, or I'm sorry, for the Chiefs game this year, it was you wore your black tops, but you wore white pants. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's our home game. That's like our regular home uniform, I believe.
I thought the regular home uniform for you was the what was the purple. Oh no, I'm sorry for the
It might be
Chiefs.
purple.
For the Chiefs game, you were right. They were wearing their purple jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
My fault. You were right.
It's all good.
And then for the Colts game, I think it was just that you wore your black jerseys but the white pants, if I remember correctly.
No, we wore purple pants that game.
Yep.
We have weird variations with our home and away games for our uniforms.
Even though I don't like the Baltimore Ravens, there's actually times where I call you guys the Baltimore Ratbirds. You know, it's all friendly banter and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, no harm or bad intentions. But I love your logo. For some reason, this logo, that Raven head with the B on it, it's one of my favorite logos in the NFL. I'm not going to lie on that one. And your color scheme is also one of the best color schemes in the NFL. Purple with black.
Mm-hmm. Purple, white, and black are always a good combination.
Yeah. Nobody else that I know of uses that color combination.
Besides Vikings, but they have a different tint of purple, and they don't really use black that often.
Yeah, I would say their colors are more purple and yellow.
Mm-hmm.
New England just scored a touchdown.
Titans might lose their first seed, I think. I don't know. I'm hoping that we get that first seed, and I hope that it lasts a while. We used to have first seed for a little tiny bit, but then we lost to the Bengals, I think it was. And then we bumped down significantly.
All right, well, I think we've talked about this game enough. Do you want to do any type of score predictions, or is that not really a thing?
With score predictions, I don't know. I mean, NFL is always unpredictable. So, I mean, I do think this game is going to be relatively high scoring, but definitely not 40s. I do say this could be a 40 to, not 40s. It can be definitely 20 to possibly 30-point game. It's going to be very close. I do not know who the winner is. Both teams kind of have, Ravens are banged up, and the Browns have been playing really good. Their defense is amazing, and they just got to figure out what they're going to do with their offense. They're gonna run the ball a lot. So I know that they're gonna use Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb a lot. So, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of disadvantages and advantages for both teams here. So it's gonna be a very close and very bloody game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I am gonna say Ravens win 24-21. I'll throw in a bonus and say Justin Tucker wins it with a last-second field goal. It's
possible. We always use Justin Tucker as a last liability, but I feel like we have to use him more often to gain points. Because that's another problem with the Ravens recently, is that when we get very close to the end zone of our opponent, we go for it, but we decide to punt it and not kick the field goal.
Bengals just intercepted Big Ben.
Bengals might come out on top. I'm not gonna lie.
Now they're in the red zone right now.
Oh my gosh, Steelers!
I'm if we win, I'm trying to figure this out. The Steelers are 5-4-1. So if they lose this game, they would drop to 5-5-1. And if we beat you, we move to 7-5. Would that get us out of fourth place in the division? Because right now, even though we're 6-5, Pittsburgh's ahead of us at 5-4-1.
Mm-hmm.
So if we beat you and move to 7-5, and the Steelers lose, I think that would be enough for us to move out of the basement.
It'll put you guys, I believe, in third.
Yeah, because
It looks like the Bengals are gonna win. But if Browns win, they'll be in third, but they won't be in the playoff seed. But if they win, but since they're on the bye week next week, but if they win again against the Ravens, they'll definitely have a playoff seed, and then Ravens will lose down even more.
Yeah. So this is gonna be this is an important stretch. And then after the Ravens, we've got the Raiders, who are right in the playoff mix.
Mm-hmm. And they had a really good win against the Cowboys Thanksgiving game.
They did. Bengals just kicked a field goal, so they're up 10-0 right now.
It looks like the Steelers and Bengals game is going to be quite a blowout from what it looks like, as the Bengals take a very strong lead in the first quarter already.
Yeah, first quarter. Bengals are actually trying to sweep the season series from the Steelers.
I can see why. Steelers have had a very good season last year, and it looks like it isn't going to be one of their seasons like it was last year. And I think the Bengals are trying to push them down even further.
Yeah.
From what I'm seeing here, they're trying to push them out of the playoffs completely and possibly losing to fourth place in AFC North.
We should have beat them in week 8, but it was because neither team was able to do anything offensively. But for some reason, it was bizarre. We lost 15-10. I don't know what to tell you. But I think we're just about wrapped up here, because I don't know about you, but I want to go get comfy on the couch and watch some NFL football. I think you kind of want to go do the same thing. So
All right.
I'm going to go let you do that. But thanks again for joining me on the show today. I really appreciate it.
I thank you for inviting me here. And if you need another if you need another guest here for when the Ravens versus the Browns again after the Browns bye week, just send me a message and I'll see if I'm down to.
All right.
So, yeah.
All right. I'll let you know.
All right, thank you for having me here.
You're welcome.
All right. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.